In the wake of some new polls showing Donald Trump falling massively behind Hillary Clinton, he took to Twitter and he had a meltdown. So he sent about 10 tweets lambasting the media. And remember here, the reason why he's upset is clear. In one poll, he has 1% support among black people nationally. He has 20% of millennial support. He's down in virtually every single swing state. It's really not looking good. The last 20 national polls, 20, have Hillary Clinton up. I think she's up by about 8 points on average. So, buckle up. He's losing his mind because he's beginning to realize I might actually get blown out in this election. So, he went on and on about how it's not his fault, it's the media's fault, the goddamn media. And one of his tweets was this: "It is not freedom of the press when newspapers and others are allowed to say and write whatever they want, even if it is completely false." Come on, Don. Don, you have to stop saying stuff like this, man. So, first of all, yes, there's something called libel. There's something called slander. In this case, since it's written word, it would be libel if they're being malicious and misleading on purpose and attempting to damage your reputation, and it is not true. Now, libel is notoriously hard to prove, but it is a thing. So, if Donald Trump is so sure that these people are malicious hacks lying on purpose and destroying his reputation and saying things that are absurd, well, you can sue Don, and you can win. And if you win, we'd know for sure that you're right. But here's the thing. If you did sue, you would lose. And you're probably not going to sue because you've already tried to sue people before with libel cases, and you got your ass handed to you. So there are ways to remedy that if indeed that was happening, that they're lying about you and they're doing it on purpose and they're malicious and they're maligning your reputation. Yeah, we can redress those grievances, but you don't have those grievances. See, they're saying things that are true, they're saying things that are accurate, and you don't fucking like it. So what do? This is how you lash out. It's not freedom of the press when people get to say whatever they want. Kind of, yeah. But see, that's the thing. He would, in his mind, anything that's against him, he would just declare that's libelous. Even if the thing is true, and it's accurate, and it just portrays him in a negative light. He'd say that's libelous. So I have to shut that down. That's not legitimate freedom of the press. This reminds me of Erdogan. Remember Erdogan's quote? He's like, freedom doesn't mean freedom to insult. Of course it does, you fucking epic moron. But these guys are such simpletons that they haven't really done the basic, mental exercise and haven't thought through it enough to realize, oh, wait, that is part of freedom of speech. Again, if it's genuinely libelous, it's not. But libel is super hard to prove, and it's super rare because oftentimes when people make an argument against somebody else, there's a grain of truth in it. And look, I mean, as somebody who's somewhat of a public figure, it's like he acts like, oh my God, everything anybody's ever said against me is so wrong. You should see the shit people say against me. Oftentimes it is libelous and it isn't true. And I still am like, what are you going to do, man? What are you going to do? But see, he gets it's thou doth protest too much in his case. Because, and you know what specific article he was angry about here? Now, obviously, the reason why he's already fed up, like I said, is the poll numbers. But there was an article in the New York Times. All they did was talk to some people from within the campaign, and the people within the campaign are like, yeah, he's exhausted. He's beginning to realize he might not win. He's basically uncoachable and uncontrollable. So in the article, people were basically saying stuff that any of us could have guessed from the outside looking in. Yeah, he does look tired. He sounds fucking sleep-deprived in his speeches when he can barely stay coherent. He does look like, and he's even mentioned it in some interviews, like, oh, if I lose, I will take a nice long vacation, but still keep doing what I'm doing in terms of spreading the message. So there was nothing particularly against him in that article either. It was just like, oh, this is what's happening. And he's still like, how dare you? And that's one of the things they mentioned in the article. Any little perceived slights, like the most random things will set him off. Like Marco Rubio said, if I get elected, because again, he's running for a Senate seat in Florida again, he says, if I get elected, I'm going to hold both parties accountable. I'll go after leadership of both parties. Rubio said that when campaigning in Florida. Apparently, Trump was obsessed with that for like a day and a half. He's like, how dare this fucking guy say that? He's going to come after me and hold leaders accountable in both parties. How? Like, that's something they would say about anybody, even if it wasn't you, Donald, who's fucking, trying to become president. Even if it was a different Republican nominee, he'd probably still say that. But the littlest things, oh my God, this hurts me so much. There's been articles that claim accurately Trump's involved in 3,500 lawsuits. There are articles recently about small businesses, contractors like, he fucking keeps stiffing us. He owes us $200,000 for paint jobs we did in some of his properties in Florida. All these things, he's like, I'm not going to say anything about that. They write an article about how, oh, your campaign's in disarray. He's like, oh, no, it's not. Liars. This isn't freedom of the press. This isn't freedom of the press. He's such a weird character. And understand, he has a media blacklist. That's scary stuff for somebody who's running to be president. This idea that, oh, if he gets elected, on day one, he understands free press, free expression, First Amendment, whatevs, dude, no more media blacklist. He's going to allow everybody in and all this stuff. Well, as he's running, he's not. I mean, you would think that people would deduce that if I'm running for president, maybe I should run in accordance with the same rules and laws I'd abide by if I actually become president. In other words, I'm open to any media outlets. No, at his campaign events, he doesn't give credentials to BuzzFeed, Washington Post, Politico, the National Review, a right-wing outlet, Univision, the Daily Beast, Fusion, the Des Moines Register, Mother Jones, and more and more and more and more. He doesn't give credentials to right-wing outlets, to centrist, vanilla, establishment-y outlets, to liberal outlets. Anybody who says something bad about him, he's like, done, banned, censored. And then he turns around and a lot of idiot people who are rightly anti-social justice warrior go, oh, he's the social justice warrior slayer. I love him. He's the right-wing social justice warrior. He's the right-wing PC police. He bans people who hurt his witty-bitty feelings. He sued Bill Maher over a joke. He sued The Onion over a satire article. He's saying now, he's writing tweets about how that's not freedom of the press. At what point will free speech warriors go, oh, this guy's the antithesis of everything we want? Just because he's a dick to a group of people that we also don't like doesn't mean that he actually abides by the principles and ideals that we supposedly believe in. But see, that's the thing. It's not about those things for those people either. But I don't want to get into that. That's a side rant and a separate conversation. But just know, as he bans all those outlets from covering him on the campaign trail, he allows white nationalist radio shows to do it. Because they're more likely to fawn over him. They're more likely to talk about, oh, how great he is. So he's like, okay, you like Trump, you're good. You don't like Trump, you're bad. And this is how this guy operates. He's an authoritarian through and through. And people, we shouldn't brush this under the rug or look the other way when he's out there all the time dropping clues. I don't care about the Constitution. I don't care about the First Amendment. This isn't to say Hillary Clinton is good because she's not. But this is to say that this guy is a real threat to free press and free expression, and he's letting you know about it.